Hi, I decided to make a video of 10 facts that you probably would never know about Chris Cartaya. Okay, where to begin? Number one, Chris Cartaya is an Ephraim. What is Ephraim exactly? Well, Ephraim is a very, very ancient, pre-Christian, pre-Jewish, pre-pagan, pre-Satanist belief that everything has a place. Everyone has a place and everything has its rules. It's a belief that says, well, if, you jump into a tank of sharks and one of them bites you, you should expect that. Well, why not that of humanity? One that believes that a person's choice is their life and their lifestyle choice, and that no one should infringe. But of course there is right and wrong, but that is fulfilled in their destination of where they go, their consequences, their rewards, their own goals, and if they fulfill them or not. This gives Chris a moral flexibility and a neutrality and an unbiasedness that most people don't have. However, he rarely uses it for himself and more uses it to excuse others. Number two, Chris Cartaya has a crazy eating disorder and cannot overcome it. Will never overcome it. And the body has built such a resistance to the foods that he can't eat that it's starting to see some of them as poisonous as GB gas. True. Ever since I was a very young kid, and nobody really knows why. One theory is that I have a feeding disorder, that I just didn't take down the right foods and learn to eat them. Another is just a combination of things. I have bad sinuses, my stomach doesn't digest stuff, that sort of thing. Or that my mind sees certain things as just bad, dangerous. Sees broccoli as plants. And even though I'm not allergic to broccoli, it ain't going down. No one's allergic to broccoli. I can only eat a few things. And of those few things, I am extraordinarily picky how they are prepared, how they are served, and what they're served with. And that means basically 90% of the food that is out there, I can't even touch. And not only that, I had to learn to be around it and not get grossed out. Because my mind sees certain foods as literally chemical waste. The foods I can eat are usually easily digestible foods, such as chicken drumsticks. I can eat chicken nuggets, but I gotta drown them to death. I can eat baby back ribs. I can eat ham. I can eat bacon. I can eat pancakes. I eat everything for breakfast but eggs, French toast, and sausage. But I can't eat the sausage biscuits because the texture is different than just sausage itself. And oh yeah, there's a ton of them. About 6 or 7 things I can eat, and that's it. But the problems don't stop with food. The problems continue with drinking. Well, what am I talking about? I can drink nothing that is not distilled. No wine, no beer. I cannot drink tequila because I'm actually allergic to cactus. I cannot drink wine, and I can't drink wine because I'm allergic to sulfates, and beer because I'm allergic to hops. And the allergies get even worse. Anything in the air, 5 miles away, Brazilian pepper, sage, anything, are severe allergies and can make me miserably sick for weeks or months at a time without proper air filtration. You may notice I am very picky about where I hang out. Why? Because there's certain places that have stuff around it that I'm allergic to. May they be plants or flowers or whatever. One day I went to Knott's Berry farming, I was miserably sick for weeks. Why? Well, there's something planted there or around there that makes me horribly ill. It's an allergy. I may never know what that is. I just know to stay the hell away from there. So you may notice I'm at places like Disneyland a lot, or Malibu a lot. And I usually have about 5 or 6 enclaves that I hang out in. Well, that's why. Because the places don't offend my body. And my body, as I found out, extraordinarily sensitive to too many things. When I went to Singapore, I was allergic to nothing. Went everywhere in the country and did not have a problem with anything. No reactions whatsoever. That made Singapore and Southeast Asia very appealing. As well did the opportunities there, and as well as the people being nice and receptive to me. Will I ever find a place like it or go back? We'll see. But for right now, I'm in good old Southern California. Number 4. Chris Cartaya has his own vocabulary. What does that mean exactly? It means that I have my own little dopey little language, kind of like Michael Alec had this, he's a sprig and that's a scrog. Or Bojack Horseman had that's a zo and that's a Zelda. Well, I have a lot of stuff. Like, do you know what a doo-doo is? I bet you know. It's anything adorable and cute. Typically children or very, very cute girls. Usually ones that dress up like anime people. Well, another example. What does it mean when I go? It means shame, shame, shame. So my own quirky little personality made up his own dopey little language, and believe it or not, my friends love it. My good friends actually are like, wow, that's really cool. It just goes to show that it pays to be an individual and not somebody who just follows what everybody does, but to come up with stuff. But there have been things that I've said or done that people didn't like. And over the years, those get filtered out, but as you can imagine, I was one strange, fucked up teenager. Oh yeah. Number 5. Chris is perpetually lonely. As a matter of fact, he chooses it most of the time. Why? Well, Chris has the belief that the value of women has declined. That yes, you can find somebody who's nice, and you can find somebody who's cool, and you can find your soulmate. However, it's become much harder because of the teachings and the value system and the lack of parenting that people have, that once a girl turns about 12, 13, 14, she becomes this really gauche jerk. Yeah. Who basically plays games, is manipulative, and thinks that conquering men is better than having them. Now, there are ones that don't feel that way, but I usually find that they're entangled in religious pursuits or some other system of control. And I don't like that. So, if I ever pick anyone ever again, it will be somebody extraordinarily special and somebody who is an individual and somebody who is not like I just described. Because quite frankly, I see so many relationships around me that are just fucked up that I'm like, it's not worth it. And yes, I see a few that are great, like, okay, my best friend got married last week. And they have great chemistry. They're awesome. They're fine. But he's my age. He's 42. He's been looking all his life for somebody. And I mean, if you think about it, okay, so he met this really great, nice person, and she's wonderful. She's a peach. She's awesome. I went to the wedding. I was one of the witnesses. I thought it was great. But Tarek had to wait 42 years. I had to wait all my life. What does that say about womankind? Not very good. And it doesn't make you have a very good opinion of them either. That the whole system of relationships, dating, marriage, family has fallen apart to the point it's actually better off not having one. That's a fucked up way to think. Unfortunately, that's the way I think. Take 2. Okay, another thing about Chris is that Chris chooses when to work, where to work, and why to work. And that's a very interesting philosophy. Basically, I got a few things going for me. I had a disability as a kid. Not just your typical ADHD stuff, but a stroke, an actual brain injury. And that's really tough because when you try to tell friends that, they think you're some kind of pathological liar or something. Until they talk to my parents and see the paperwork. Oh gosh, you did have a stroke. Oh man, we've been diagnosed with a stroke. They did a CAT scan, they found it, everything. Oh, okay. Well, that not only just makes me a very quirky person, it also makes me, as the government would call, disabled. To the point that he'll need to be on Social Security the rest of his life. If I work for anybody, it's very difficult. My disabilities make organizing my life extremely hard. It is a challenge. It is more than most of the people. And I rarely pull it off for long periods at a time, except for when I was running my dad's company, who understood very well that I had a disability. But if you look at every other stretch, it's been on and off work here and there all my life. Just basically can't get stable. So I am very picky about where I work. One, will they understand me? Will they understand my problems? But that I can work through them, and it is a mutual advantage too. It's got to be advantageous. Will I actually do them any good? I don't care how much they pay me, but if I am not doing any good, I will not feel good about it, and I won't do it. Okay, I'll feel terrible. Even if they were to pay me 6 figures for doing nothing, I would feel like, oh, I feel so guilty. I'm getting $100,000 to do nothing. It's just my ethics, my morality. And the other thing is, it really has to be something worthwhile. Not like, okay, if I were to work here in this foreign country where pizza costs twice as much, booze costs twice as much, and cigars cost 3 times as much, and all I really have left at the end of the month is a few $100s, rather than staying at home, minding my blasters, watching movies, going to Disneyland on the weekends, and eating at Tony Roma's, when I didn't have to work 1 hour this week. That's right. But where did this money come from? Well, it came from the fact that I worked for my dad for a good amount of years, over 20 years, helping him run his company. And that Social Security amount is based off the wage that I had for all those years. So if you think about it, I did work for it. But it does make it a little difficult when someone's trying to negotiate with me and say, hey, do you want to make a couple $1,000s doing this to make blasters? Well, what do I have to put aside to do that? Now, I am so disabled that, and anybody can tell you, anyone's trying to get disability, and we're talking people in wheelchairs that are obviously disabled, have taken months or years to get Social Security. Mine took 3 days. It was so documented, thanks to my mom for saving every little scrapbook, so documented and so diagnosed that in fact, it was just all there and it just went right through. 3 days. Yeah. There was no appeal, there was no anything, there was no question, oh gosh, this guy's gotta be on Social Security. It was that obvious. And I know I don't seem like I'm that dysfunctional of a person, but that's only because I hold it together. I am that dysfunctional of a person, and I have a very hard time finding rhyme, reason, and function in this life. But that's what you do. Life goes on, and you move on. Number 7. Chris used to play lead guitar and was actually pretty good at it. That's right, from the time I was 14 years old, I've been playing guitar, and I was a natural at bending strings, sounding good, and having good reference and taste of sound quality and tone. This kept me out of a lot of trouble in high school, and is very, very serious about songwriting, song production, and music. One problem, however, is that my genre was too deep and what many people call outdated. It was modern blues and progressive rock. Basically, guitar tone much like David Gilmour or Clapton, but it was just going out of style. However, these were my influences in playing music, and I believed that music should move one. It should be emotional, it should be powerful. And then the grunge era happened. And that was basically the death of rock and roll as we know it. Jesus Christ. What's a triad when you need one? Yeah, aren't you happy I don't have a Nerf gun today? Number 8. Chris Cartaya wears Hawaiian shirts in tribute of his favorite author of all time, Dr. Hunter S Thompson. Dr. Hunter S Thompson was the author of The Rum Diaries, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail, as well as he was a writer for ESPN, and he was also an author for the Rolling Stones. He has a very eccentric attitude, lifestyle, and adopted what we've known as gonzo, which is basically I can't describe it. You just have to see it. It's crazy. So basically, if I'm wearing one of those, it means I want to hit the bar, have about 6 shots of scotch, get in my car, and go harass some hitchhikers. Yeah. I won't though, but you know, I want to. That's basically what it means. Number 9. Chris Cartaya's religion, Ephraimsm, is secret. How secret? The elder that taught me actually told me it's like bomb secret. And if it ever got into the wrong hands, it could destroy all existence in mankind. So, basically, I can't tell you anything about it other than what I basically told you already earlier in the video. And if you want to join, be a part of it, don't bother. This is a religion that's done by recruiting. Elder recruits an apprentice. You don't pick it, it picks you. So that again makes things very mysterious. But Ephraimims also have usually a subculture, a sub-religion, something that else that they believe, minus Christianity, for example. Because an Ephraim is usually one of the 12 tribes. So minus Christianity. Some other people can be Jews, you could be a Chinese metaphysicist, you could be Buddhist, you could be Hindu. You got it. You can believe in Ra. As long as you believe in a religion that actually works and actually functions with the goals it has intended. Muslim, Palestinian, you got it. You can be any religion and be an Ephraim. That's not the important part. Very interesting, eh? Number 10. I have suffered from manic depression since 2004, and probably even before then, where I was prescribed every atypical antipsychotic, almost every medication known to man, and now the list is running out, which is very, very sad, because there really isn't anything effective. I was on lithium for 12 years, only now it has lost all its effectiveness whatsoever, and the only medication that could possibly work, sodium vaporate, is not prescribed in the United States. This is Chris Cartaya saying, hang in there. I got all these issues, eccentric things, problems, belief system, people don't understand, and I live through it, and if I can handle it, you can too. Don't go change it.